When it comes to these big pots, there's two big issues. Not only for that reason I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it also for and also, but I'm gonna show you a different way, a cheaper way, because when I'm removing it from that ecosystem, I have to adjust the soil for the new. This will dry up. It will not happen right away, but it will dry up, and so will the plant. Welcome back. Hi, I'm David. We're gonna get one of the big begonia repods. On this one, I'm gonna address the Rex begonias, just because they're not very fond of being out here. They the leaves dry up like and get crispy a little too quick. So I'm gonna make an arrangement, and I'm gonna bring it so I can put them all together. That also alleviates the fact of the mix that they're in. Again, I'm not against peat moss. I like peat moss in the mix, but not as a main ingredient because it becomes hydrophobic. I sound like a parrot. I say the same thing over and over, but it's true. So even though that these plants likes to dry out in between waterings, still the peat moss is not ideal because it completely dry out. In order for them to get water again, they have to be soaked in or submerged in order to all the medium to get wet. So if you want to know what I use, you can check out my um, in the in my playlist of mixes, or in my channel. You can check what I use for my begonias in the begonia mix. So without further ado, let's start with this. And as you can see, this is quite a big pot. The reason I like this because it has quite big of a surface to work with and make an arrangement with it. And I'm going to mix larger and smaller plants. I'm also going to show you a couple that I did probably about a month ago of Rex begonias. I have one inside because it was not doing really well in here, and it's still kind of but there, I have another one here that is doing quite well. So let's start with the filling. When it comes to these big pots, there's two big issues. When I was in Dallas, is because the fact that I have to bring them in and take them out because of the weather. It was an issue that they were like too heavy, or they were like not easy to maneuver. Not only for that reason, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it also for drainage. It helps quite a lot for drainage, and it also alleviates the weight of the pot, and also reduces the amount of soil. You probably have seen in the big box store that there's these big discs that you can put in here, and will shorten the length of the pot. But I'm going to show you a different way, a cheaper way, because those discs can be like the price of another pot. So uh, let me show you what I do. Here I'm just going to use I have a couple of 1 liter bottles. After that, I'm going to use styrofoam. You can use also our packaging peanuts as a filler and as a drainage aid. So let me get to that. You can use also smaller bottles. I want to suggest the 2 liter bottles because then the level gets too high. With the soil, we're going to come to about an inch of the edge. Once these are placed, that's better. There. I move to styrofoam. These are from packages that I received, and like then I can cut it in small pieces, and that will fill in the bottom of the pot. I do like to keep this in the bottom, not too close to the root system, because roots can actually go through them, and then if you need to repot, those roots will need to be like chopped off because they're extremely dense foam and they will not come off. This creates a great breakage of the water table.
What the frick is that?
If you don't know what the water table is, it's a physics phenomenon that happens in a container that it has a medium like dirt or anything similar, and water, if the medium is consistent from top to bottom, water will log to about, let's say, like a tenth or 15% of the container, and it will stay there. Doesn't matter how much drainage does it have, because all the moisture, unless the complete soil has completely dried out, and for like these plants, we're never gonna let that happen. But this is about the area that is gonna be basically always moist. So having this to break it down is great, because the water will drain with this type of breakage. But when it comes to having rocks or this type of media as a breakage for drainage, you need about that amount that I'm telling you, that is about a 15% or 20% of the pot, in order to break that water table and let the drainage happen much easier, so it doesn't get waterlogging. Especially for these plants, they are very susceptible to root rot.
In English, please.
So all I'm doing here is filling the empty gaps, and then the smaller gaps are gonna be filled by the dirt. So you see, like, I don't go very high. I just keep it to about less than a third of the gap, so about a quarter or less. Now with that, and I'm just, I have some of that dirt, that mix. Give it a smack so it fills all the little spaces in between, so there are no air pockets, and also that will promote for this to become a one system. Once we got there, now we have about, I'll say, like 3.5 or 4 inches of playground to do the setting. So the next, I'm gonna lay out the plants the way that I wanna place them, and we're gonna start repotting. While I'm removing the soil, some of these are fresh and new. Some of them I've had them for over a year. For example, I got this one a Steve Leaves. Only of all the ones that I got Steve Leaves, I only have two left. So by no means consider this any type of tutorial or like how to do this. Consider this that you're experimenting with me, because at least this soil mix have worked in one of the other arrangements that I've done, but it's not so much in the other. You'll see them at the end of the video. But what I do want to point is that when it comes to Rex begonias, in my particular case, it's quite easier to propagate than cane begonia. For example, this is propagation that happened in my box. If you see, this is just sphagnum moss, and you can see right here I have an alocasia corm. Now I don't know what I tossed in there first. They start growing together, and now that it's time to pot this begonia, I'm just gonna remove the as best as I can the sphagnum moss, trying not to rip the roots apart. I mean, this is a big corm, and it's in good condition ish. It has have like a little, no, it's not rot or anything. It's like just a little flake. So I'm just gonna repot this somewhere else and put it back. Actually, this was, as you see, these have been already cut. I cut it, I clean it because it was rotting in the bottom, and now it has a little bit of a rot, like just in the very tips. So like that means that the plant that was coming out is the one that has like mushed out, but the corm is in good shape. So I'm gonna put it back on the prop box. But this begonia is something that it was a leaf. This was on this little growing pot. I have several. When we get to the alocasia episode, we'll talk more about that. I'll also make a chapter or an episode on propagation boxes. That's something that I'm not an expert whatsoever, but when it comes to the begonia genus, the easier ones are Rex begonias. I have tried the tuberose begonias by cuttings. I have tried the cane begonias also by cuttings, and I have no luck with them. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or if I neglect them too much, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to remove a lot much of peat moss, because you can see how fine these roots are, and the fibrosity of the sphagnum moss, it will tangle with it. So this is not ideal to grow propagations for Rex begonias. Usually what I use is a mix of perlite and vermiculite in a shallow bowl, either with or without drainage, because I put it in the propagation box and I make sure that that medium stays moist but not waterlogged. Or if I don't have vermiculite, I will use a little bit of peat moss to like break the perlite. I also have them in perlite alone. But when you do them in perlite alone, I'm afraid that the roots that grow are more of the water type, because there's no biodegradable material in there. So instead of growing roots that are meant for soil, it grow roots that are for water. So I'm guessing if you will grow a propagation in just perlite, it's better to move it to either a water setting. I haven't seen, only a couple of successful begonias grow in just water, because again, being so fine, any pathogen can get there and like destroy the root system in a day. You can try to like keep it in perlite, or I like vermiculite, or even try pond. I know I've seen other creators that have their begonias in pond. So for example, like this leaf, even that it has that much decay, I'm gonna trim around the decay. I'm gonna cut the stem to like a quarter of an inch, and I'm gonna toss it in. Like I have a couple of leaves here that I'm saving for that. That's one of the things that I wanted to point out. Like this one, for example, is also mine, and look how leggy is gotten. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna stress about that, because it has a grow point right here, a new grow point, but it is grown out completely out of the growing pot. This one is also in sphagnum moss, but it has a little bit of perlite with it. So again, I need to get better at where do I place the leaves when I get into the prop box. But you can see that on sphagnum moss they grow quite well. When I get to that episode, I will show all the propagations that I have going, and most of them are alocaceous, begonias, peperomias, and I have a few cuttings of pepipernums, and that I have not get into the whole dividing the chunks, except for the one that I did of the strawberry shake last week. And after I placed that on chunky mix, I put it in the one of the prop boxes to see. We'll see how that goes. This one is also a propagation of mine. I know, because like, but this one is in a mix of just a little perlite and peat moss. Peat moss and perlite is great for propagation, don't get me wrong. That's because it's in a microenvironment where the light is consistent every day, because it's under grow light. The humidity is consistent, and then the nutrition is also the same. It's gonna become to be a part of like a small ecosystem. So when I'm removing it from that ecosystem, I have to adjust the soil for the new place where it's gonna be. And this is not it. So it's nothing again like growers or peat moss itself. It's just that it's not functional for where we are going to place the plant ultimately at the end of the day. So I just got two more right here. This one is probably like something that I bought and it just died. So it was started growing. So I put it in the prop box, because this is not my mix whatsoever. This is just coco coir. It doesn't have any perlite in it, and coco coir also tends to not transfer all the nutrients,
I'm sorry, what?
because I know that one of them is iron, that
He's wrong.
is essential for the plant, not only development but for the
Blah, 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 blah.
Here are the actual facts. Coco coir can sometimes lock out certain nutrients like calcium and magnesium, making them unavailable to plants. This can be a concern in hydroponic systems or when using coco coir as a primary growing medium. Also different than peat or sphagnum moss, is completely void of nutrients.
that nutritious part of the either fertilizer or the um, either in a pebble form or extended release form, slow release form, or in a water form. It will be absorbed by the cocoa coir or the cocoa chips, and not transferred to the plant. Now, what do we have here in this soil? That's what I don't mind that and getting mixed with the soil that I'm at the end, which is my begonia mix. Is that these have developed also some sort of like mycorrhizae and fungi and microorganisms that are being in here, like now mixing here, are going to inoculate as well. Even though I'm going to use mycorrhizae inoculant, there are inoculants in here. So not for the sphagnum moss, but when it comes to like this mix, yes, I am definitely going to like throw it in here because they've been in here for a while. And considering that this mix right now that is going to be a lot more draining and not hydrophobic, leaving peat moss or sphagnum moss in the root system will be a huge mistake, because then most definitely that this situation right here, let's call it a plug, it's not a plug, but this situation right here, because the surroundings are so much draining, like and not holding as water like as well as this will dry up. It will not happen right away, but it will dry up, and so will the plant. So that's why we're like, when it comes to this, we have to remove it. If it was a similar type of water retention, will be a different story. But we have a lot of more aeration and drainage in the new mix. So a little bit is fine, but like this is way too much. All right, so that came out almost completely clean. All right, so with the sphagnum moss out of the way, do I got all the plants? Yes, I did. All right, so now we're gonna start placing them. I give up on the idea of trying to get the names and the IDs for them because there are so many that is basically impossible. I used to have one like this that it was called silver glass, I believe. I have no idea what this one is. I think it's absolutely stunning, but it's been outside here and like it's not caring for the salty air. So I have removed as much as I can of this mix. I was looking to see if there was a plug, and I don't think there's one. I'm not quite all the way in there, because if there's a plug, like I do want to remove it, but I believe there might be a little bit of a plug. Yeah, there's a plug. That's one of the things I have mentioned it before, and I'm going to mention it again because uh, this might be the only video of mine that you watch. Plugs are the absolute worst. I hate plugs with passion because peat moss is hydrophobic. When you add adhesive to it, which is what a plug is, it's just peat moss mixed with adhesive, it becomes super hydrophobic. So once the plug dries up, you need to soak it for like 24 hours. These roots are gonna suffer if they're soaked, the rest of them, if they're soaked for 24 hours, because they will asphyxiate and die. So having the plug in the middle, and it's almost like a dead sentence to the plant, in my opinion, because that's where the roots are gonna come up from. Like the plant is gonna like shoot roots from the center of the plant, and when that plug is dry, if you have come across them, you know what I'm talking about. They are corks, so these fine roots are not going to make it through that cork, so the plant ends up asphyxiating as well. You can like break a little bit into it because I don't want to disturb the roots so much. These plants do not care for that, same than alocasias. But you can see the plug in there. All right, so I'm gonna do it facing me, and then I'm gonna turn it over. That way I know what I'm doing. So now with that there, and these are not all my Rex begonias. I have, the other arrangements that you're gonna see, and then I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek to what's gonna be the next begonia arrangement, but that's not gonna happen for possibly another couple of months, because I'm still having in the, those are the ones that I'm gonna put in the terrarium, because they are that kind of begonias. And of course, these are going to be inside, so they're going to have all the fixins into the mix. And that is, we'll start with the mix of cinnamon powder, sulfur powder, and rooting hormone. I place the plant in position. Before I cover the roots, I'm gonna add the inoculant, just a little sprinkle. Then I'm gonna add some more mix. But after the little mix, I'm gonna add the systemic, also like a little pinch. Systemic is an insecticide that will kill like anything, so that's why I don't use it outside. I use it for the plants inside. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of DE, or diatomaceous earth. That's gonna be another agent to attack naturally any insects in the soil. So after that, one last thing, even though that I already added some to the mix, I will add this around the roots so they have food right away, like give me a little comfort. This is earthworm castings, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit around, and at the end I'm gonna this mix already has a little bit of slow release fertilizer. I will add at the end, just sprinkle with the mosquito bits. I will sprinkle mosquito bits and slow release fertilizer on the top, and mix it on the top inch, so it sips down in time. Like, let me show you. You see, like, it's still sitting there, but it still needs more soil. So now that I have all that sprinkle in there, I'm gonna finish that area, because you also want to give the plant room to grow, and they can get, as you can see, this one probably started like the other ones, as little as the other one. Then I'm going to show you another one at the end that it has decayed quite a lot since he arrived, but I believe that is due to the salty air. All right, so now let's keep adding towards the front of the planters to place the next begonias. So I'm going to do exactly the same with the rest of the begonias, and so I don't make this video also like an hour long. Let me know also in the comments, would you like longer videos with like uh, every single second of it, because I do a lot of editing of my mumbling and all the ants and oohs and whenever it's something that is monotonous, like I will like speed it up. Um, but what is your format? What do you like? Put it down in the comments. All right, so there it is. Now I'm gonna give it a little mist on the foliage, so I clear all the dusty particles of the amendments, and then I'm gonna give it a deeper water. But let's do that together. Let's mix it up together, and then I'm gonna put on the table also the other arrangements that I did. So before I let you finish watching the video, let me ask you for your thumbs up if you like the video. If you have any criticism, if you have any tips for me, put it down in the comments. I will really appreciate that. And also share with other begonia enthusiasts. And don't forget to subscribe, it means the world to me. Thank you again so much. I'll talk to you soon.